Shalom YouTube, welcome back. So as you can see, we've made some pretty decent progress on the homestead shed since the last update, and just kind of a quick little walkthrough on what we had to do. What the destructions tell you to do is to put in the four corner pieces. And kind of right before that rib right there is a corner piece, so it's part of the front and the corner piece. Then it's the same thing on the back there. You put the four corner pieces in, and then I'll try to go slow here so I don't make anybody dizzy. But so you do that, and then you come in and you put these braces that go across here. So you start on the side, and then you go back to put on this back brace. And then you put up this other side brace, and then you put up the front brace, which is also the track for the doors there. So it goes in there, and then once you have that done, then you start putting in the middle bracing. So there's a middle brace there, middle brace across the back, and another middle brace across the side. And then I still yet have to put the middle brace here across the front and there, and then I put the door jamb pieces in here. These dark brown colored pieces are the door jamb. And so next, once we get these put on the front, we'll be putting the roof on, and that requires putting in these beams that I showed you earlier. That's like an erector set for adults, but there's that. So yeah, we're just working away, and probably about a day's worth of labor left, I would think, depending on how hard it's going to be to get on top of that to do the roof, since we're already 18 inches, 2 feet off the ground right there, however high off the ground that is. So we're making progress, things are going well. And one thing that we have come across, though, we're probably going to have to take out the foundation screws that I put in temporarily, so the whole thing didn't move while I was attaching the pieces, is over here. Let me show you. You see where this is kind of puckered right here and right there. And so probably we'll take the screws, put some temporary screws on the inside of the foundation frame track, and we'll let that settle out so that it sits completely flat and levels out. Because otherwise, when we go to put the roof on, some of the holes won't line up, and then we'll have even more of that puckering. But so far it's gone really well, as far as all the little holes lining up where they were supposed to. And it's just off by just the littlest bit someplace, but we'll just take the screws out the foundation and kind of bump it and twist it around a little bit until everything flattens out good. And then also, living, well, you can see we live on a mountain. So we can't really just have this sitting here on top of the platform but not be fastened down to the platform. So that's a one little hiccup that we've experienced thus far. But other than that, everything's going good, and we'll continue to show you certain parts of this, and maybe do some more time lapse. It's been maybe a day or so since we did it, because as you saw in the time lapse in the last one, me having to do all that stooping over after many back surgeries, I was hurting for certain for quite a while after that. Doing, yes, I can occasionally do labor like that, but it's pretty limited, and then the recovery afterwards quite extensive. So just doing the best we can, and we're getting her done. That's the most important thing. Alright, so here we are with the shed that we're working on, and as you can see, it's nearly completed. We just got a few things here and there to do, namely put the doors in, and it's pretty well finished. A couple helpful tips if you're working on a project like this is to the last thing that they instruct you to do, let me, got a really bad reflection in the viewfinder, is when you're doing the roof panels, you start in the middle, and then the last thing you do is down here on the ends where the roof ties into the sidewall. And if those aren't lining up, what worked out really well for us is you loosen the 3 beams that are in there, and then gently rock the shed back and forth and let everything settle back down to where it needs to be, assuming that you're working with a flat surface. And here we are, we have checked our platform here, and it is true. We checked it on all 4 sides, and it's even. But if that doesn't work, then you can shim up one side or the other and see if it helps to push the building in the direction it needs to go so that those holes will line up. But so we had to do that. I had to loosen the 3 beams that are in. There's a double beam in the middle and then 2 side beams that tie into the gable there. And when we did that, we rocked it back and forth, we were able to get everything to line up. And so far everything's going pretty well on it. And it's just a matter of following the directions and putting the screws in where they're supposed to be and whatnot. And while we're talking about that, something to consider is that if you're not used to using a drill or a screw gun, whatever you want to call it, and using the clutch mechanism on it, I definitely would not recommend trying to use a drill to put one of these together. I would hand tighten them so you can feel how tight they are, because what'll happen is you'll strip out the screws, and if you strip out a screw, it basically just kind of became worthless, and it's not going to hold as tight as what it should. So just something to keep in mind if you're going to take on a project like this. Alright YouTube, so here we are. We have the homestead shed completed, and very thankful for the cooler weather we've had recently. But we finally got it all done. And here in the next couple of days we'll start working on getting some electricity ran to it. We'll be coming up underground through the floor so that we can have electricity in here for a deep freeze and freezer. But there it is, guys. And like I was talking about before, these beams right here are the beams I was referring to, where if your roof panels over here on the sidewalls aren't lining up, loosen both sides of these roof panels, and then lightly jostle the building back and forth so it'll settle. Assuming that everything's level, like mine is here, that fixed the problem for me pretty quickly. So there you have it, and overall I'd say it's been a pretty good project. And the doors even slide easily and line up just fine. So there we have it. And there's my helper over there. Say hi, YouTube.
Hi, YouTube.
Shalom, guys.